Why, hello there. Jacob here. And I figure I'd go ahead and give my week 16, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, week 16 already, if you can believe it, preview for your Minnesota Vikings. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So, yeah, the Minnesota Vikings travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks at 3:05 Central Time. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's one of those weird 3:05 Central Standard Time starts that doesn't happen that often. We'll just, leave it at that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and kind of get into this. So yeah, the Seattle Seahawks are coming off of, well, basically getting their tails whipped by the Green Bay Packers and Geno Smith going out for, well, sometime in like the third quarter or something like that, kind of towards the middle end part of the game. And, well, rumor has it, sounds like he'll be back in time and will be playing against the Vikings. So we'll just kind of wait and see how that actually goes, or if it's going to be the Sam Howell show, or if there's going to be a share there. I don't know, because, well, Geno is a very interesting quarterback. We'll just kind of leave it at that. So, yeah, let's go ahead and actually kind of break down some more of the matchups then. So, yeah, obviously the biggest one is Geno Smith versus our defense/defensive line. So, yeah, obviously, as I, was kind of hinting to earlier, Geno Smith will probably not be 100%. I mean, he did get a pretty bad tail, like, knee, leg whip or something along those lines last week. And, granted, he didn't, break anything. X-rays, I believe, were negative, and he was hobbled. But, like I say, he's definitely not going to be 100% when we travel up there to take on the Seahawks. Granted, we're at that point in the season where I'm pretty sure everybody's a little banged up and bruised, but, it is what it is. And also, don't forget, too, ladies and gentlemen, they still got some pretty good weapons on their team as well. They have Jackson Smith-Njigba, second-year receiver out of Ohio State, who's actually really been a bright spot for them. In fact, he's on my fantasy team. They also have DK Metcalf, who you can never, ever count out. And, oh, by the way, too, I don't know if you saw this or not, but there was a fan article or an article on one of the Vikings Medium websites and stuff like that, where DK Metcalf was trying to basically prevent Vikings fans from buying tickets because he's so sick of seeing, Lumen Field basically be overrun by by opposing fans, I should say. Because last week in Green Bay, I don't know if you were watching the Sunday night game, but let's just say there were a lot of "Go Pack Go" chants. And I would not be surprised if there's a lot of purple in the stands this week as well. Yeah, it's definitely been a far cry from the, the 12 fan days and the Legion of Boom and stuff like that, where that stadium was a house of horrors. In fact, by the way, the Vikings have not won there since 2006. Granted, we've only, played there probably, I'd say 4, 5, 6 times maybe. I mean, it's not like we play them every year either, though, but still, yeah. That place has always been difficult for the Vikings to win at. But anyway, kind of railing it back here to Geno Smith and those weapons. DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Would not be surprised if Noah Fant finds a way to kill us because tight ends against the Vikings. Gah. Anyway. And also Zach Charbonnet is one hell of a backup running back if Kenneth Walker can't go. And if Kenneth Walker can go, yeah, they've got some weapons. We'll just, put it at that. They've got some offensive weapons. It just depends on if Geno Smith and or Sam Howell can actually get the ball to them. And not just get the ball to them, but actually thrive. And, take it down the field on us here. Because let's be honest here, too. The Seahawks offense is really what's been carrying them a lot recently, I will say. I mean, at least when they're up and going, their offense is one of the big catalysts. Plus, they're still fighting for the NFC West themselves, and with that loss last week, the Vikings clinching the playoff berth and all that stuff. But they're still in it for the NFC West as well. I mean, the NFC West is anything but complete at this point. So, again, we'll just kind of wait and see, but they're still fighting for their lives as well. But yeah, now it's flipping sides here. How will the interior offensive line do against Leonard Williams and that defensive line? Because good God almighty, do they have some pretty big beef eaters on that D-line. And while their secondary isn't necessarily the Legion of Boom, Tyreek Woolen and Love and those guys are more than capable corners and secondary, DBs who can more than make things difficult. So yeah, like I say, while their defense isn't necessarily I'd say the biggest thing in the world, they can be had. Let's just put it that way. The problem is, our offensive line give Darnold enough time to find the weapons because, I don't think I have to go over how bad or how just frustrating our interior offensive line has been over the last several weeks. I mean, good God, we were giving up sacks left and right to the Cardinals. We gave up 2 or 3 sacks to the Falcons. It just seems like at this point, we're giving up way more sacks than I'd like to see. And again, like I say, the interior offensive line is not the greatest in the world, and this, that, and the other thing. But at this point, we're pretty much just going to have to eat it with what we have and pray to God it doesn't come back to bite us in the keister at some point, But, yeah. So basically, just kind of wrapping it up here a little bit, at least as far as the actual game objectives and stuff are. Get to Geno Smith, make it difficult on him, and or get to Sam Howell, because again, I'm pretty sure Geno Smith is going to be playing in this game, or at least starting, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see how the pass rush and the pressures and all that stuff go. And then also for Sam Darnold, the same thing is the key there. Can we hold that pass rush and allow Sam Darnold to hopefully pick apart a young but hungry secondary that, is also very, very solid in and of themselves. But, yeah, and again, they're still hungry too. So, this game could be a rock fight. This game could be a bar fight. This game could be a tough, tough matchup here. Because remember, both teams have a hell of a lot to play for. Because as I mentioned, the Seahawks have basically at this point, whoever wins the West is going to be who makes it out of the West for the playoffs. And right now, I'd say the Rams are probably the front runner. Which, again, is crazy to say considering when we played them here about 2 months ago or so. They were, hobbling, licking their wounds. And then Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua came back. And, the rest is history. So, and like I say, too, with the Vikings, we could potentially make some serious noise here and just somehow, some way sneak into that number 1 spot. I'm not just talking about the NFC North Division title. I mean, we could see the Super Bowl, the playoffs, run through Minneapolis. And again, raise your hand if you saw that coming at the beginning of the year. Because God knows I didn't. I mean, I didn't expect this to be a dumpster fire like pretty much everyone in the media was saying, but at the same time, if you would have told me that we control our destiny, and if we win out, we are the NFC number 1 seed, and the playoffs roll through US Bank Stadium, I would have looked at you like, I mean, I'll take it, but I would have thought that this would have been more like 2 or 3 years down the line. But here we are with a magical season on our hands. More than enough weapons on both sides of the ball. Let's do the darn thing, fellas. Let's get this done here because who knows? Just keep doing your part. Go 1-0 every week and let whatever plays out, play out. Because the Lions are beyond injured. So, who knows? The Lions could very easily slip up one or more of these games themselves, just due to the fact with all these injuries and stuff, but who knows? And then, of course, the Eagles, they're still kind of on a... I still don't know if I trust them, but all I know is if they are clicking together and they have that culture together, they're about as dangerous as any team, especially because they have Saquon Barkley, who's basically turning the NFL back to 2012. Or 2009, probably more so. I mean, his numbers are just stonkingly just ridiculous. Like, I don't think, again, I've seen those numbers in probably since Derrick Henry here about 3 or 4 years ago. So, but yeah, Vikes, let's do the damn thing. Let's go 1-0, and hey, then we come back home to take on Green Bay. But yeah, let's go ahead and take care of things on Sunday in Seattle, and at the very least also, win for the first time since 2006 and, conquer those demons. And who knows? Sky's the limit. So until we meet again, this is Jacob. Have a good day. Skol.